Hey, what is up, everyone? So I was pretty excited a couple days ago when I was pretty surprised when I actually got sent a copy of Doom: The Dark Ages from Bethesda, Microsoft. I'm not actually sure who actually sent it, but I got sent a copy of it to review. So I thought what I'd do is just play through the game and play through the first couple hours, and I'll just let you know my thoughts on it. So this is actually going to be the first Doom game that I've ever played, and I'm actually pretty excited to try it out. Now I know this is I think like the third Doom game in like the modern Doom franchise. So like we had like Doom 2016, and then there was I think Doom Eternal, and then I think this is the third Doom in that franchise, if I'm correct. I'm just gonna kind of leave all this basically default. Oh, that's cool. So go ahead and go into the campaign. In the age of fire and ruin, when the legions of hell first set foot upon Argent, or I don't know how to pronounce that, another came, an outsider, his path to their world, carved in blood. Missed that. The Night Sentinels, desperate and broken, saw in him a weapon. Their gods, ever watchful, saw something more. They bestowed upon him strength beyond mortal flesh, speed beyond thought, a gift now tethered to their will. Now, I heard a lot of people were upset with this game. So, the weird thing with this, I wasn't expecting to get a copy of this game to review because they sent the code for this like a couple weeks after the game actually released. So, I wasn't actually expecting to get this game to actually try out. But I know some people are pretty upset with this game just because it's more story driven than past games that are more like just hack and slash or whatever. So, I'm interested to see. I'm going to turn up the sound a bit.
The village of Kalim is a mining settlement. If it falls, everything will be destroyed, including your Sentinel energy reserves.
Launch the Slayer.
Total purification targeted for the village of Kalim.
Let's talk about him like he's not even human. Now, I have heard this is a new thing, the shield, and a lot of people like this. Let's go ahead and try that out.
Launching the Slayer in 3, 2, 1. Release.
Impact confirmed. The Slayer has been activated.
Oh, wow. How do I pick that up? Maybe I need to pick it up. Hold left trigger to block. Okay. While using shield block, you can lock onto targets. When the lock on is active, press right trigger to charge it then. Shield charge can be used to travel great distances. Okay. That's cool. Are they? Oh, maybe that's ammo. Maybe, there we go, that's ammo. Okay. Alright. Yeah, this shield is very satisfying. Easy to use so far. Now it's probably gonna get more complicated as we get further along. Hold on. When a demon takes enough damage, they will become dazed. Press to execute them. Okay.
The Slayer is dangerous. Keep your distance.
But no one wants to be my friend? I see how it is. Some demons are vulnerable to glory strikes. So yeah, just throw on that again.
Once he kills the demon, the portals will collapse.
Okay. Throw it in the silence. I know what I'm doing. There's a lot going on here, though. Jeez. Oh my. It's hard for me to focus on what's going on. There you go. Oh my. For a second there, I thought I died. I do kind of like these green things around. They definitely help me grind.
We need backup! Someone get on that turret! They're making a final push.
Man, that was kind of crazy where every shot was like actually falling off his body. I haven't actually seen that, I don't think, in a game before. Dang.
They lied to us. And now he has a leash.
The Makers felt a weapon as powerful as the Slayer.
Should be guided.
And you agreed.
He's not one
Of us. They want assurances. And so did I.
After all that work, still hate us. Alright, first chapter done. I will say I'm not too interested in the story so far. It might get better, but I can kind of see what people are saying. Like, I don't know, nothing that I've seen so far has really like intrigued me. I don't really care about anything that I've heard so far. It just kind of seems kind of boring so far. But the gameplay has been really fun. I know it hasn't really sold too well so far, which is kind of disappointing. It says I only did 25% of that, which is kind of crazy to me. It looks like there's only 22 chapters. I don't know if those are like kind of worlds, and maybe like you go back, you can go back to them, and there's like different levels within those worlds. That's what it kind of seems like. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll play another one, and we'll hop into it. But I'm liking it so far. I'm liking it more than I thought I was. I think the gameplay is really strong. Story, I don't think you're really coming to Doom for a story. I mean, based off friends of mine that are a lot bigger Doom fans than I've previously been. But I will say, if I play this more and, you know, I really am liking it so far, I might go back and start trying some
Sire,
older Doom
the
games.
demons are now targeting the Sentinel's energy relay.
He's at the drop zone. Deploying weapon pod now.
Ooh, this is the one I saw in the trailers. Anyone else? Are we all good here? Let's see. No.
Welcome to research and development. Operations are currently suspended.
Oh gosh. Oh, oh my. I regret what I said about turning up the difficulty. Oh well. Kill all the demons. Is that it? We got Accelerator shoots out plasma energy at a very high rate, has moderate speed, making it less effective at long range.
Plasma gun test in progress. Please
identified.
Alright, so we're back on. So my plan is for the rest of this video, I'm going to try to do the next 2 chapters, that way I can have like kind of a good idea of what this game is about, and then I can kind of give you guys a little bit of a wrap up of my thoughts on just the first good chunk of the game. And then if y'all want to see more of it, let me know in the comments below, and maybe we can play more of it. Maybe I'll do a live stream of it. I didn't want to do a live stream for the first part of this game because, you know, I didn't know how much I was going to play at once, and, you know, it's just a little bit easier doing it. Obviously, it's been a little bit later, obviously, you know, later at night right now, but hopefully I got the lights synced up back here, so that's pretty cool, synced up with what's on the screen. And this is supposed to be the Mechsuit one, which I heard is one of the lesser fun ones of this game, so I'm interested to see. I think maybe it might be a little bit more fun for me because I'm not familiar with the Doom franchise, so it might be not as classic Doom, but we'll see. I'm keeping an open mind.
Established.
The reactor has sustained heavy damage.
I mean, visually it looks cool, but gameplay-wise, I don't know. I think at least you don't really feel in the outcome, whereas the other ones I felt a lot more intense feeling. Maybe I'll get there. Yeah, I do. What's that?
More Titans ahead. Support team, deploy weaponry.
Incoming.
That's a special weapon or something? This would probably help. but next step. What I can say is I appreciate them trying to change up the formula. I mean, we can't just do the same thing over and over again. You have to do something new. I am excited about flying a dragon. I saw that in the trailer.
Players approaching the core.
The barrier is critical. Relay overloading.
We need to pull everyone back. That core will explode. He needs to evacuate now.
He's trying to save the city. Slayer, there's a strip mine nearby. I'll mark it for you.
Grand shipment disappeared from radar.
See, it'd be cool if you could take that weapon dropped by your enemies. At least the physics kind of work where you can like knock over it. Stuff like that. Pretty cool. Kind of reminds me if you played High on Life, where you go to that little mine town. And kind of reminds me of that a little bit.
No response from the makers.
Okay, if he's trying to save the city, he's destroyed most of the city, so... Oh. Yeah. The thing I don't understand is, like, I guess I thought the city was, like, the bad guys. If he tried to save the city, he destroyed, like, most of the city in that Mechsuit.
The transdimensional barrier is offline.
So I didn't really get it, but okay.
Surging.
So I don't think that was as bad as, you know, I heard people talking about it being. You know, I don't think it was probably my least favorite of the ones that I've played, but it got better as we went along. I think it has its good points. I'm interested to see how this final one goes, and then I think I'll do a little wrap up. But overall, though, I'm not really interested in the story. I think the story is pretty boring. I have no idea what's going on. I think part of that's just because I'm kind of coming into Doom as a pretty new person, has no idea what's going on, and who
A distress
really any of
signal
these
was
characters
sent.
are. But I also
We
just
tried
think the
contacting
writing's
them.
not that great.
No response.
Champions have good gold armor, which takes reduced damage from weapons, and
Aviary unlocked. Clear the Slayer's launch pad.
Alright, so I changed that color so that y'all could see me a little bit better, but yeah, so that's the first, like, little bit of Doom the Dark Ages. You know, this being the first time I've ever played Doom, I actually liked it a lot more than I was expecting to. You know, going into it, I know some people have had mixed things saying about the game. I know some people said they really liked it, other people saying it's, you know, not really selling too well. I think a lot of people are just playing the game on Game Pass, which I think this is probably better suited for Game Pass, if I'm being honest. Just, you know, the nature of how expensive games are now. I think this is $70 retail. I'd have to check again. I Game Pass seems the way forward for a game like this, where you know you have something that is a single player game like this. It would make sense to me to pick it up on Game Pass if you already have it, or if you just want to try it out. It seems to be pretty fun to me. I'll probably keep playing it. And if you're interested in seeing me play more of it, let me know in the comments below. Maybe I'll make a follow-up to this. Maybe we'll live stream it. I'll leave it up to y'all in the comments below to see if y'all are interested to see more of this. But I was pleasantly surprised. I think I alluded to it a few times during this that I'm not the biggest fan of the story. I just think it... Honestly, I don't even really know what the story is. Part of that could be just me not being familiar with the characters. Obviously, I know who Doomslayer is, just, you know, pop culture icon. You know, obviously I am a video game player. Like, I enjoy other video games. So I've heard of Doomslayer. Obviously, the guy from Fortnite, so I've seen him in Fortnite. And I actually own the Doomslayer skin in that game. So I've actually owned him in Fortnite before I ever played Doom, which is kind of funny. But I have no idea what the story is, even, you know, after playing, you know, the first 4 chapters of this game. The cutscenes didn't really explain it, and I was just kind of, you know, sitting there listening to what they were talking about, and I'm just kind of not that interested. And if the worst part of this game is the story, that's perfectly fine to me. I would rather have amazing gameplay and a boring story than boring gameplay and an amazing story. For an example of this, I would say something like The Last of Us is, like the first game, is a great story, but mediocre gameplay. I haven't actually played that one, so you don't hate on me too much. I'm not trying to review that game or anything, but one of the reasons I never wanted to buy that game is just because I've, you know, watched a lot of gameplay of it, and it looks super boring to me. So this, on the other hand, I don't think the story really matters. If you just ignore the cutscenes, which I was kind of starting to do as we got more into it, the actual gameplay is really fun. The Mechsuit one is probably the weakest out of all of them, but even that I started getting more into as it went along. And I think the most impressive part about all of this is it actually was really easy to pick up and learn. It is a little bit of a learning curve, of course, but I'm not the best at, like, picking up new mechanics. I typically stick to a few handful of games. I don't really like to stray away. I'm not really the type of gamer that plays a ton of different games. So you won't see me playing, you know, like 10 different games a year. I might pay maybe like 4 different games. And typically in that rotation is Sea of Thieves and Fortnite, and then maybe 2 others. And the main reason for that is because I'm not the best at, you know, switching between different control schemes, because it's just very hard for me to, like, remember all different controls. This, I find the controls are very intuitive, and I feel like it really guides you well into, like, learning how to do it. And it got to the point where, like, the pairing mechanic and stuff all was very intuitive for me, and it made a lot of sense, and it became very natural for me to, like, do all of this stuff. So I really enjoyed playing this. I think I will keep playing it. I'm really hoping that it keeps getting better. I think what I've seen so far is really good. I think the visuals look really good. It was a little bit worrisome when I first started trying to play. Before I started recording everything, I kept getting warning messages on my PC, and I have a very nice PC, very expensive PC that, you know, is not old or anything. It kept coming up with warnings saying that it might have problems with recording software like OBS, which is pretty standard recording software for, like, streaming and stuff, which is what I use to record. A lot of Twitch streamers and other stuff use it to record. It also gave me a warning saying that it might need a BIOS update for my motherboard, and I'm like, I started looking into what that actually entailed, and I'm like, I'm not going and doing all that just to play one video game. It seemed to run fine for me, so it didn't seem to be an issue, but it was just a little bit of weird setup to just get this started. So that was the only hiccup, but otherwise, once I got into this has been great. I think they did a great job. Microsoft really did an outstanding job, and honestly, the saddest part about all of this is if they just started coming out with exclusives like this and just, had a steady stream of hits like Doom the Dark Ages, Microsoft and Xbox probably could have been a lot more competitive with PlayStation than they were. But, they threw in the towel. They started putting their games on PlayStation, and now they've gone full into Game Pass. Maybe that's a topic for another video. And if you're interested in hearing my thoughts more on how that's been going for them for the last year or two, maybe we can talk about that in another video. But I think that covers all my thoughts on Doom the Dark Ages. Obviously, this isn't really something that I talk about too often. I'm mostly a Sea of Thieves channel, and I talk about other video games here and there. But I'm thankful to Bethesda and Microsoft for sending me a copy of the game to review and check out. I was somewhat interested in the game when it got announced and saw some of the trailers, but after I haven't gotten a chance to play it, I think it's actually really good, and I'm happy that I got to try it out. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed, it'd be great if you like and subscribe. And until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Bye, y'all.